York, a city steeped in history, filled with charm and perfect for a weekend getaway. We've just returned from 24 hours of eating, exploring, laughing and even getting a little bit spooked. Let us take you with us on this trip from castle views, ghost bus tours, pancakes and train engines.
Whether you're planning your own trip or you like living through other people's adventures, we've got you covered. Let's dive into our trip to York.
We arrived just before lunchtime on Saturday and parked up in the castle car park just next to Clifford's Tower. It's probably one of the best places to start your York adventure.
Clifford's Tower has stood here for centuries. Originally built by William the Conqueror, it had quite the bloody past. Fires, sieges, even a tragic massacre in 1190. For us though, it was tea time. First up was the castle tea rooms. We had a great cup of tea and lemon meringue, but that was just a tiny little bit dry. Still, a lovely little place to start our afternoon with a sit down in a cosy room with lots of atmosphere.
Welcome to the Shambles, one of the best preserved medieval streets in England. With its narrow, winding lanes and overhanging timber frame buildings, stepping into the Shambles felt like stepping back in time.
Did you know that the name Shambles comes from an old term for meat market? In fact, this street was once known as the Great Flesh Shambles, where butchers displayed their meat on shelves outside their shops.
You can still see the original meat hooks hanging from some of the buildings, a reminder of its past. Back in the day, butchers would slaughter their animals in the back of their shops and the blood and offal would be washed down the streets.
Thankfully, today's Shambles is a little less gruesome. Now it's home to quirky shops, cafes and even a few ghost stories.
One of the most striking features of the Shambles is how close the buildings are. In some spots you can touch both sides of the street at once. This design helped protect the lower levels from the elements.
Some of these buildings date back to the 14th and 15th centuries, making the Shambles one of the oldest shopping streets in the country.
And if this place looks familiar, you're not alone. Many believe the Shambles inspired Diagon Alley in Harry Potter.
The Shambles is a must visit when you come to York, whether it's for the shopping, the history or just to soak in that atmosphere.
And here it is, York Minster. No matter how many times you visit this city, it always manages to take your breath away.
It's just massive, isn't it? Every time I see it, I forget how huge it actually is. You can just spot it from all over the city.
This is one of the largest Gothic cathedrals in Northern Europe, and it took over 250 years to build. Imagine starting a project you'll never see finished. And the detail is unreal. Every bit of stonework has a story. There are statues, gargoyles, angels. We could have spent an hour just looking at the outside.
I read that the stained glass windows inside are the largest of their kind in the world, even bigger than some tennis courts. We'll definitely have to come back and see that one day. If you're going to come to York, this has to be one of the first stops. Even if you don't go in, just take a slow walk around it and take it in. It's peaceful out here too. We just sat on a bench for a bit and people watched. You kind of forget that you're in the city centre.
So yeah, York Minster, a beautiful sight. We'll definitely be back one day to give you a full tour.
Add it to your list even if you're just passing through. It really is a must-see.
After a fair bit of walking, we were ready for lunch. We stopped at Spring Espresso. I had a bacon, brie and cranberry sandwich, which was delicious.
I had a mozzarella, pesto and tomato panini with a side of chorizo, and it was also very tasty. From here we headed down to the river and hopped on a city boat cruise for a 1 hour ride up and down the Ouse.
The commentary from the crew was a nice touch, full of local stories and landmarks, although we'll admit it was a bit hard to hear at times.
Still, the views are beautiful. Seeing York from the water gives you a totally different perspective.
This was a 1 hour cruise and cost £16 each. Quite a lot of money for what you get, but the sun was shining, everyone was having a good time, so that made it worthwhile. After all that exploring, it was time to check into our hotel. It was a 5-minute drive out from the centre, as the prices in the centre were extremely high that weekend. There was free parking at the hotel, so it wasn't an issue for us.
We had time to shower and get ready for dinner as we decided that we were going for a steak night.
We had dinner at Miller and Carter, and honestly one of the best steaks we've had in a while. It was perfectly cooked.
The atmosphere was great too, perfect for a weekend evening, but the night wasn't over yet.
Now this was one of the highlights of the entire weekend, a ghost bus tour.
It's spooky, it's funny, and it's probably one of the most theatrical tours we've ever been on.
You step onto this old black double-decker and straight away you're plunged into Victorian darkness. Red velvet curtains, dim lighting, and a conductor who definitely looks like he's not quite alive.
And then it begins. 70 minutes of ghost stories, local legends, dark history, and hilarious one-liners. We weren't sure what to expect, but we honestly laughed so much.
Dick Turpin was then taken to the York Crown Court. He was found guilty of stealing 2 horses on the 22nd of March 1739. He was then taken all the way to the Knavesmire at home. And I will take you to see the Knavesmire a little bit later, but just take anything away with you tonight, folks. Just remember, Dick Turpin was essentially killed for shooting a chicken. Since we're stuck at this traffic light, I'll tell you about Dick Turpin's ghost, apparently. Haunts the Blue Boar pub. But why that pub specifically? It's not en route, that's why I'm telling you it here. Well, that's where his body was held in the cellar after he'd been killed. That was quite common. You'd keep the dead bodies in the cellars and it'd keep them cold and fresh. You'd even put makeup on them, stitch their eyes closed, and you could pay to go down and see him. And today if you go to the Blue Boar pub, there's still a coffin in the cellar that you can go down and look at. Sit on it, raise a glass to Dick Turpin. To be honest, that Blue Boar pub isn't the actual site of the original Blue Boar pub. Nobody really knows where the original Blue Boar pub was, but we know it was on the road somewhere where the current Blue Boar pub is. So, that whole coffin in the middle of the floor, ladies and gentlemen, is a money-making scam, let me tell you that. Just in case anyone's already been today, I do apologise. Anyway, that's my traffic light spiel for this area, ladies and gentlemen. We're now getting into the danger zone. The danger zone is where I start picking on people, passers-by specifically, but it's alright, we're moving now, so.
The tour takes you around York's most haunted spots, past graveyards, plague pits, execution sites, all with this over-the-top, slightly unhinged conductor telling the tales.
Every single snickaway in York either starts or ends in a pub! Be careful. Never, ever find yourselves alone or in a group of 32 down a snickaway in York, because you might come face to face with a creature that is known as the bar guest. Now the bar guest takes the form of a big black dog, said to be a demon from the depths of hell and has never lived a day in its life, and it roams through the snickaways of York looking for its next victim. It is said you might feel its eyes burning in the back of your head. You might smell that horrible wet dog smell. You might even hear it growling behind you like this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you make your way through the dark and dodgy tunnel, not yet, but if you were to do that, and you feel that dog brush past you, you feel its tail whip you on the back of your legs, you're fine, you'll live another day at least. But if you get back to wherever you're staying tonight and you still feel as if something's in the corner of the room watching, and you still smell that horrible smell, you are marked by an unhealable wound. I'll be honest, I don't really know what that means. But many people on this tour, and this is the truth, have gone through that tunnel and they've come out the other side and they've had 3 scratches on their neck. So, for health and safety tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's probably best that I don't go first.
Don't look at me.
What's your name?
Grania.
What?
Grania.
Grania.
Irish.
Hi, Grania. It's a lovely name. Right, Grania, you can lead us through that dark and dodgy tunnel there.
She is a nice name. Go.
Why are you fighting?
Yeah, you go for it. You can get.
Right, I'll tell you what, why don't you link arms and go?
Go on.
Do some Irish dancing on your way. Everyone follow them!
He was brilliant though, part stand-up comedian, part gothic storyteller. He kept the whole bus hooked.
York has a seriously creepy past, from Viking invaders and Roman bones to ghostly monks and headless coachmen. The city has seen it all, and hearing it all told at night in a moving, candlelit bus, way more fun than just reading plaques on a wall.
The whole tour lasted just over an hour, but it flew by. It was weird, it was wonderful, and it was totally worth the ticket. If you're in York and looking for something different to do in the evening, this is it. A bit of history, a bit of horror, lots of laughs.
So that was the Ghost Bus tour. Entertaining, eerie, and a great way to see the city after dark.
Just don't sit in the back row. Rumour has it that one of the passengers never got off. After a good night's sleep, we checked out of the hotel and made our way to the Double Dutch Pancake House for breakfast.
If you like pancakes, sweet or savoury, this place is a must. Big portions, tasty toppings and a quirky interior.
And to round off our trip, we visited the National Railway Museum. And what a place! Engines the size of houses, old royal carriages and lots of hands-on exhibits.
It's free to enter and well worth a couple of hours. If you want a deeper look, I've got a walkabout video on the museum already on the channel, link in the description below. So that was our weekend in York, a perfect mix of food, history, good laughs and atmosphere.
It's the kind of place that's beautiful in any season, whether you're there for the cathedrals, the cruises, the creepy tales or the good food. York really is a place you must visit.
Let us know in the comments if you've been to York or if it's on your list. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to this video, we really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us and we'll see you on our next adventure.